Okay everybody, I'm here to share the rest of my October Project Life page, and real quick I'm just showing you the card that I'm going to use, a few of the embellishments I might use, a stack of old Halloween papers that I'm going to be using. Real quick, this is the second time I'm redoing this on iMovie. It was like 22 minutes long and I could not get it to record, so I had to erase it, and I'm going to have to do it in a couple of different parts. So this is going to be part one. But anyways, here I was just showing you some of the scraps that I'm going to be using. These are some old Halloween papers, and just wanted to get them used up. I don't really celebrate Halloween, but I wanted to kind of use the theme a little bit with the month and, you know, bring in some of the colors, but not so much, you know, just all the things that go with it, like the pumpkins and all that. So anyways, I rounded out the corners, and this tag is from the Crepe Paper After Dark collection. It says, "Hello October." I'm going to probably go around and ink it a little bit and give it a little bit of dimension. I did poke a larger hole in that to get that string through there. And let's see, what else have I done so far? Like I said, I am really irritated. This is the second time I have to do this. I could not figure out how to get the videos to load longer. Even though they said they're enabled, it wasn't working for me. So I'm just going to ink around this tag, like I said, to give it a little bit of dimension and pop it up. And it's going to be kind of my title card for the month of October. So, and you know, just hoping to figure out this iMovie thing and the voiceovers, but yeah, I'm done. I was like so irritated that that would not load for me. I spent like over 2 days. So I'm gonna put this tag down. I'm definitely gonna fool around with this string quite a bit, even on the video, before I pushed it away and got it to adhere later. This picture here is just a picture of me sitting on my bus. I'm a school bus driver, so I have quite a few layovers, and sometimes in the afternoon I'm waiting for the students to come out. So I just snapped that photo while I was sitting there surfing YouTube, waiting for the kids to get out of school that afternoon. Thought it would just kind of show how I spend most of my life, it seems like. So, and so next to that, I'm going to be using a little label that is from the paper tray ink. Well, that's a piece of the ephemera there. I'm going to label that or layer that in behind the photo and whatnot. And then that little label that you see up there is one of those ones from the paper tray ink stamp and die set that I had bought and mentioned in a previous video. So just going to layer that in there, and see what else. So I feel like, being that I've done this once, I don't know what to say about it anymore. So of course I have to move that tag out of the way because it's not just right, and reposition it back on there and see how that will work. But yeah, I was hoping to, you know, try to make some process videos. I enjoy watching them. Sometimes I think I learn a little bit more from watching versus you know, just seeing a finished product. So just, I like to watch how people layer things, some of the products that they actually use, and some of the thought process that goes into it. So I'm going to adhere that little label down to the corner there, and I was going to use it for some journaling, but I do end up using a couple of those word stickers and filling that in with you know, a few words, which if I'll be showing you here shortly, but I do believe it says something like school bus drama. So, and yeah, definitely every day there is drama on the bus. So surprisingly, I think parents would be quite surprised how their kids act on the bus. So I don't know. I do have a group of students that, you know, definitely try me at times, and it is probably far worse than what you can imagine. So, and it's not just the noise, but that is what it is. So maybe, like I said, I don't remember my school bus being like that when I was growing up, but you know, it's a quick trip to get them dropped off, so I'm going to stick with it. So it's you know, it's not a difficult job as it seems, but you know, it is it is trying. So, but yeah, I'm just gonna label those on there. It does say school bus drama. I think I end up putting a couple enamel dots down there to fill up the side of the label where it's a little bit empty. And I do believe I end up using a few at the top too. So I don't even know if I've gotten to the point that I tried to put that string down, but it is coming if I haven't got to it yet. So, and So I picked out a couple of enamel dots, going to put those down there in the corner, and thinking maybe it's done, but no, at this point I went ahead and this is where I was trimming off the excess that was hanging over, and then I'll be probably trimming that string down a little bit, and boy, that string just would not adhere for me. I was using my quick dry adhesive, and I don't know what I was doing wrong, but it just wasn't catching. So after fooling with it a little bit, I ended up just letting it go and fixing it later. But so there's those two enamel dots, and boy, I feel like I've been on this card for a long time. I don't know if it has anything to do with this being the second recording, but it definitely was a long enough process in real life, that's for sure. I have trouble just, pumping out pages. It just doesn't work for me. I ended up working on this whole 12 by 12 one-sided layout for 2 days, just screwing around with different paper layouts and how I think I want things to look, but in the long run I got it done and I'm very happy with it. And like I said, you can see here the string was just not catching for me, so I am going to fool with it for a few more seconds before I say forget it. So, but not before I try one more time, it looks like. So, but yeah, so like I said, it did end up getting it to stick in the long run. So, and gosh, am I going to try it again? Who knows? So I do really like that fine line glue bottle. It puts glue exactly where you want it instead of all over the place. And that's definitely what I was trying to avoid there. Sometimes the quick dry adhesive, I had them in one of the fine line blue tip bottles, and it just was, the glue was a little bit too thick, so I had to switch to the yellow tip. But so it definitely, works much better with the yellow tip. And think that I'm going to say I'm done, and that's where I give up and attach the string afterwards. So that card is done. And then I'm getting ready to move on to the next card. This one is a picture of Brady and I in my craft room. I'm rounding out the corners of that paper. I do use a lot of just paper to make my cards instead of actual Project Life cards, although I have a huge collection of them. But yeah, this picture is a picture of Brady and I laying in the craft room. He's always with me for the most part, and the sun was shining through the window, and it was definitely a chilly day, so he was laying in the sun, and I decided to get down on the floor and curl up with him and watch YouTube videos while sitting down there. So I just layer that photo on there, and I have that little label there. It says loving right now, and I decided to ink it up, and which was a mistake because in the long run I did not like the way the ink looked, and I tried to cut it and trim most of it off. But I definitely used the brown, then I went to try a little bit of black, and then I went to brown, and boy, I was just making a mess of it. So I'm glad I didn't completely ruin it because I did not have another one. But in the end, I actually ended up moving that little tag to the other side. I ended up adhering it to the right side here, but in the finished product, it was actually ends up on the left side with a couple enamel dots, I'm pretty sure. So here I figure I'm done with it. I'm going to lay it down. And no, wait, I have to move the picture up. So I don't like when the labels hit the corner and it rounds them. I like them to be on the flat side. I don't know if that's just me. I don't like the way it looks when it's the label or anything like that is hanging off the rounded part. So I'll fool around with that a little bit until I get that just right. And obviously it's still not right. So maybe here, there we go. So I trimmed that off, and I end up putting a couple of enamel dots down to finish that one off, and hopefully I will be calling this one done. So let's see. Yep, and I'm moving on to the journaling card. And this was just, I think it was, no, it was a part of the paper pack that had some like ledger type paper, so I cut out a few banners, and I was just going to layer those up there to give it a little bit of dimension. So, and of course you notice that I did not round my corners yet, so once I get this all laid down, I will be tearing it back up so that I can round the corners. But meanwhile, I'm feverishly working on putting it down. And I get the last one there, the little green banner, label it up, and I'm going to cut off the back. And that's when I noticed, wait, I didn't round the corners. So thought I could just pull it up on the corner and do it, but then of course, like I said, it ended up hitting the rounded part and I didn't like it, so I had to move the whole thing over just a tiny bit and of course put some more tape on it. So I'm pretty sure I spend a lot of time redoing than I actually do doing. So if I could get it right the first time, it probably would not be a very long video. And yeah, so if anybody has any idea why it will not let me upload a longer video, even though I have my account is enabled, the green light is on with the longer video, I have no marks against me, nothing, but it will not let me upload longer than 15 minutes. So anyways, I'm inking around the edges there, and I think I put a couple enamel dots on this one, and we'll be calling this card done also. But yeah, so I'm thinking this is the end of this one, and I'm going to have to do a part 2, and I will see you guys soon.